Hey guys, FMS26 here, and welcome back to highlights of AOR. So we're here for round 2 today, round China, and after a pretty good result last time out in Bahrain, we'll be hoping to match it or even better at round China, which is very unlikely because I'm not very good at this track. It's always been a weak track for me, only one podium round it in my entire league racing career, but I've got an alright setup and I'm reasonably consistent, even if not particularly quick. So obviously soft tyres, the ultra softs, are useless around here, and we'll be doing our best to get as far up the grid as we can. Unfortunately, some people have decided to go for the ultra softs and condemn themselves to a poor finishing position, but that's not our problem. We'll be hoping to be near the top of the soft runners. Aaron Dazzler again, very quick, so he's the benchmark once again. The lap's been pretty good so far as we head into the middle sector now through this very difficult left-hander. It's not quite flat, and we've messed that up really. Could have taken a bit more speed away from the apex, and here through the right-hander as well. Just a lot of understeer through there, and that's cost us some more time as we're well away from that apex as well. So three very poor corners there, which have sort of ruined our lap as we get a bit of oversteer on the exit of there. So four very poor corners, which are going to make it difficult to qualify high up the grid as we come into the snail section here before the back straight. Again, another difficult corner. This track in general is very difficult, and I'm not very good at it, so that might say something about my driving ability, I don't know. But yeah, we've actually managed to navigate the snail section quite well there as qualifying is now over, and we need to make sure we do get this lap in as we are currently down in position 18, which is obviously not where we want to be starting as we get it stopped down towards the hairpin now. Into first briefly to get the car turned in, but you need to go back up to second to keep the back end in check as we now head towards the final corner. Very easy to get your lap invalidated here. We don't, as we head towards the line now. We've just run out of ERS, but it's going to be a 131.525, which is alright, about 2/10 off my PB, but given the middle sector, not too disappointed with that. As you can see, it's Peanut who takes pole ahead of Codfield, Jack and Streak on the ultras there. Don't mean much. Aaron Dazzler is the highest soft runner. Sorry, there's no supers around here. I think it's Matty Man who's done a good job in the Williams for 6th. Stewie in 7th. Midget and I set their exact same time. I set it first, and Midget got put ahead, which I think is racism personally. And I'm not sure who's behind me. It's the Humperdinck, and then Jack in 11th. So yeah, 9th place for us, which is our second best qualifying ever around China. 8th is our best as we're now in the race. So not as much fuel is needed this week. It's looking dry throughout. Soft medium is the strategy, and we'll be looking to just change the brake bias up a little there to prevent our rears from literally melting, and that'll be pretty much it as we head to the race now. The lights are coming on. We have 3 lights, 4 lights, now we have 5, and it's lights out and away we go. Stew's got a really poor start there from 7th, and we're going to jump him along with Midget, and we've actually made up a place off the start. Unbelievable scenes. Midget moves up to 7th, I move up to 8th as we now head into turn 1. We're going to have a look at the Renault driver into turn 2. Everyone appears to have kept it pretty clean at the front, although there's some yellow flags that suggest to me there has been contact further back. There's a bit of contact between Jack, RT and Aaron Dazzler, but the top guys have all managed to navigate their way through as we've got a good run out of turn number 3 now. As there's no gap there, we're going to have to back out. Matty Man forces his way through. We're up the inside of Midget, and we're going to have a look at Matty as well. Midget being cautious on the first lap, maybe not wanting to ruin his chances of his first points of the season. We're side by side with Matty, but we're not going to be able to hold it around the outside of there, let's be real, and we have to back out. We've taken a very compromised line, but luckily Midget was not close enough to put the moves on us as Matty understeers again and cuts us off there, so lucky not to get some damage there, but no contact in the end, and it's a very good start from me, up 2 places on lap 1. You love to see it, and hopefully we'll be making further progress. Aaron Dazzler still there, so if I can get past Matty, or if even Matty can get past Aaron, then maybe there is a race on here. The top 4 are pretty irrelevant on the ultras unless they get a very lucky safety car. So Aaron's in the lead in P5, Matty's in 2nd in P6, and I'm in 3rd in P7, but that might not be for much longer. Midget in the slipstream, probably with overtake ERS, and he's going to have a look down into the hairpin. There's not much we can really do here. We're going to brake as late as possible, but I think he's actually broken later, or brake later, sorry, but we're going to go for the cutback, the good old cutback, and we've actually managed to get that move done there on the exit with superior traction. Is he going to hold it up the inside into the final corner? No, he doesn't, as we retake 7th place here, but that's cost us a lot of time to Matty, and we're now well outside the DRS, so we're going to have to utilise a bit of fuel in ERS to catch back up to him, which, as you can see, him into lap 3. Now we have caught back up to him at the expense of fuel and DRS, as you can see in the bottom right. We're within the DRS, but we're not close enough. We sort of have a look into the hairpin, but not really. But a car park is created Aaron runs into the back of, I'm not sure who that was, Matty runs into the back of him, and I run into the back of Matty. But there's cars in the pits already at the end of lap 3, just showing how useless the ultra soft tyres were, as that's going to move us up into P5 as 2 of the ultra soft runners pitted, 2 of them stayed out. Matty's going defensive as there's a huge amount of lag there as his car's moving backwards and forwards. We're lucky not to get taken out there, as it's still happening through turn 1 now, but despite this we're going for the move. Maybe very stupid, but we're not able to cut in behind them, as there's contact there with the Renault as well, just trying to cut back onto the racing line, not being aware that Midget was there. Slightly poor driving from myself, but as nothing major. We both kept it together, and we return to P5 and our chase of the Williams of Matty as Nicole sets the fastest lap at the back. I think she was caught up in something on lap number 1 there, as we now head through the middle sector, quite far back from Matty at this point, so we need to make sure we are within the DRS, so we're not vulnerable from Stewie, who's now managed to make his way past Midget after his poor start, because if we don't have DRS off Matty, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Matty's had a poor exit there, so it could be him who's not within DRS of Aaron ahead, which would put him in a lot of trouble from me. That was not very good English, but we'll roll with it as we now head through the snail section once again. We shall see in a minute. We'll definitely have DRS, but will Matty as we head out. We've got a decent exit, not too much understeer this time, which is surprising given the dirty air, which is absolutely horrendous around this track. As you can see at the bottom right, we have DRS. Matty doesn't appear to have DRS, and we're going to close rapidly using all the fuel, all the ERS, and the move is done well before the braking zone. Is he going to chuck it back up the inside? No. He does appear to have some racecraft and has allowed us to have the position there, so thank you to Matty for that as we now move up into P4. Jack RT and whoever the other ultra soft runner, Street Gamer, have decided to pull off into the pits, and that leaves Aaron to take the lead from me in second. Very familiar territory here, and what's even more familiar is the fact that Aaron has decided to jog on and is well ahead now, but for some reason my tyres have fallen off and I have absolutely no grip, as is about to be demonstrated by the understeer that I'm going to get through here. And we're holding up a bit of a train at this stage as we're almost understeering off the track. We've got Aaron's teammate Stewie, who's managed to recover very well from his poor start and also get past Matty. And he's having a look at us on the inside of the straight. He's very adamant to go to the inside despite the fact that I wasn't really permitting it, but we've had to move to the left. He's got the inside line. We're going to go for the cutback once again like we did on lap 1. We've managed to get the exit, short shift to second, and we're actually ahead as we head towards the final corner. Is he going to hold it up the inside? We'll leave him the room, and we've managed to swing it round the outside of the last corner and maintain P2 for now, as Aaron is getting away all the while, once again looking to take another win here. Stewie's now having a look up the inside of turn 1. We sort of went defensive, but there wasn't really much we could do, and he takes the position 2 to make it a Toro Rosso 1-2 here, as we're now under pressure from Matty and Midget, who are battling behind. We need to try and make sure we can stick with Stewie, so we're within the DRS, but as you can see his tyres are in much better nick already. Just the traction off that corner was ridiculous, and as you can see, skipping to lap number 9 now, Stewie has also joined Aaron at the front. His pace was unreal, actually, fair play to him. And we're now left to defend from Midget for third as we have a look into the hairpin. He's not able to get the move done, as we actually got a hit there on our screen, which you may just be able to notice a slight jolt in the car, which was obviously desync because his proximity area wasn't even red. The game is really good. But yeah, we maintain third for the moment, but with our tyre wear, it's not looking ideal. We still got to go to lap 11. Well, I didn't really have to. I should have come in for an earlier stop, but I thought I may as well allow myself to push on the medium stint. A bit like Australia, the hardest compound is by far the best race tyre, and we need to make sure we utilise that as we now skip to the end of lap 10, just understeering. We're miles off the track there, cut that bit out, although we haven't got a very good exit, and Midget is now all over us. We're going to go defensive. Midget follows us, he's hit us again, desync probably, the game's really good, and he's going to have a look around the outside. Are we able to hold up the inside? We're later on the brakes, which allows us up the inside, but we're not going to have the traction on the exit, so we're going to have to squeeze him out a bit wide as we still go side by side towards the final corner. I've turned my ARS up now, but it's too late. He's ahead of us and he has got the move done into the last corner. We've got the DRS though, but we've got a poor exit due to the slight wheel-to-wheel contact on the entry. Our tyres have had it. Jack's getting the slipstream from Midget now, and he switched to the inside to have a look at the Renault driver himself, but nothing doing there, and there's no space for me to launch an attack back up the inside of turn 2. So that's me losing 2 positions in a straight there. But I'm not too bothered about that. We're going to come into the pits at the end of this lap, and hopefully my pace on the mediums will be better and I can take the fight back to these guys for the podium. And Jack is now having a look at Midget once again towards the end of sector 1, but he thinks better of it and backs out as he maintains P3 because Aaron Dassler's already pits, but a net P4. So skimming to the end of the lap, we've dropped back quite a lot, in case you couldn't tell. and that's going to be dropping back even further as we have horrendous traction off the hairpin, but not to worry about that. It's pit stop time. Jack stays out for another lap. Me and Midget dive into the pits. Midget and I dive into the pits rather, and we're now going to slow it down, not speed into the pit lane. We've done that very nicely, and we shall be getting served by the Haas boys any moment now. We shouldn't be close enough to Midget to jump in, but you never know if someone pulls into whatever garage that is, Toro Rosso, which they won't because Stewie's already been through the pits. We might jump him, but never mind, we jumped him anyway. Not really sure how the McLaren went past us both, but somehow we managed to get out as we've not got a lot of traction on that exit. We've crossed the white line, not really, but sort of. But yeah, that's us up into a net P3 because we should get the undercut on Jack because I imagine his soft tyres are not in particularly good condition. So we now need to warm up these mediums as quickly as possible and maybe pull a gap to Midget, get him out the DRS. That is absolutely crucial as Larry's retired from the session, unfortunately, there. If we can get Midget out the DRS, then we're in a very good position for the rest of the race as they're starting to warm up already. Through the first snail section it wasn't very good, but as you can see, more grip through this left-hander and again through the right-hander as we get the fronts up to temperature through the high-speed corners, and that should give us pretty much solid grip for the rest of the lap and hopefully allow us to utilise the undercut on the Ferrari of Jack and anyone else who hasn't come in. As you can see, we're down to 12th at this point, so a lot of people still to pit. As now we have a virtual safety car, absolutely disastrous there. Virtual safety car has come out because of Larry retiring, which I was not very happy about because you're not allowed to retire unless you destroy your car, accidentally of course. So Larry is in the stewards for causing the virtual safety car there. So as a result, everyone's going to get a free pit stop, and as you can see, as the virtual safety car now comes to an end, we've been horrifically jumped. We've got jumped by Jack, obviously, as well as T Quickshow, who started right at the back, and our teammate as well of CJ here. So we've lost 3 places from that. We're down to 7th, which is a net 6th because the Giant hasn't pitted yet. But as you can see, look at the minimap, Jack is right behind the Toro Rosso of Stewie at the hairpin, and we're about 10 seconds back here. So the virtual safety car really hindering us here, as we now need to make sure we can get after CJ. His pace was actually pretty good this week, but I think we're still a little bit quicker. As you can see, going on to lap number 14, we're in the slipstream of CJ. We're pretty far back, but it's crucial I make this move. I want to get after Teak and at least maybe try and claim 4th here, or yeah, when Giant pits. We go up the inside into the hairpin. As you can see, Teak is just there. CJ thankfully doesn't fight it too much. Thank you, CJ, if you are watching this. Aaron Dazzler sets the fastest lap of the race, which is quickly beaten by Stewie. But yeah, we're up into what is a net P5 now when Giant pits with the gap to Teak about 2.1 seconds. Or 2.2 maybe. I can't read it, it's small. So it's getting to the end of lap number 16. The Giant, who started on the mediums, I assume, has decided to come into the pits, which is going to promote us up into P5. And we're starting to gain on Teak, but sadly the pace stabilised. As you can see, getting to the hairpin on the last lap. Aaron Dazzler has won again, congrats to him, but our pace wasn't quite good enough. Teak was very, very quick. I was very impressed with his pace, and the gap was pretty much stable for the entirety of the last 14 laps. And it's going to be P4 for Teak, P5 for me, which I will certainly take around my worst track, although it could have maybe been better if it hadn't been for the virtual safety car, but what ifs don't mean anything really. It's 5th for us. We're still 2nd in the championship. Aaron Dazzler celebrating back-to-back wins there. A 1-2 for Stewie. Decent incident for them on the last lap. Unfortunately, Stewie might have won otherwise, and it's Jack taking home his technically first podium of the season because Australia didn't count in 3rd. So yeah, congrats to Aaron once again. Congrats to Stewie as well. Both their pace was unreal today, and Jack did a very good job to almost match them at the end, as you can see results on screen now. Top 5 we've already been through. Unfortunately, Midget got past my teammate for 6th, with Codfield in 8th, Jack RT in 9th, both on the 2-stop, and the Giant rounding out the points there. But yeah, championship, Aaron Dazzler has 50 points. Me and Stewie are tied on 28, with Jack 1 point behind on 27. So looking like a good battle for 2nd, although Aaron is quite far ahead in terms of the lead already. But we'll give it my best shot in 2 weeks due to the real-life Grand Prix of USA and Mexico for Baku, which should be an absolute thriller if real-life races are anything to go by. And yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.